So what do they call you?
What do they call me? Or what they used to call me?
Yeah, what did you used to go by, man?
Uh, they used to call me Duke. Duke.
Duke. What are you incarcerated for, and how long is your sentence?
Um, I'm currently busted for a drive-by murder. I was a driver of a gang shooting, um, and I was given a LWOP sentence.
Hey, Duke, man. Where are you from right here on the streets?
Well, I used to be from Elmonte. The gang was Elmonte 13. But like I said, I used to go by Duke. I don't go. It's been years that I dropped that name and that lifestyle, and I just go by my actual real name, which is just Ernie. That's it. Duke, he's been dead to me. That's it.
Ernie, I want to go
Okay.
ahead and start off by saying thank you, sir. Thank you for allowing us on this platform to be able to share your story, your testimony, and everything that you've been through, man. And it's an open platform, my friend. You're able to express yourself freely as you want. I'm not going to edit anything out. This is your space where you're able to talk about anything you want, man. So I just want you to know that.
No, that's cool. Like I said, this is new to me. And I do thank you for just taking your time to, well, from the first place, for even getting at me, when you saw my ad and you reached out and contacted me, and so to me it means something to me, like, oh, wow, okay. Somebody out in the free world took their time to notice me or to notice my ad and is interested in my story. That's even more like, oh, okay, but that doesn't happen to everybody, you know, and so I'm appreciative and thankful for that, and I'm just here to be as helpful in whatever way I can, you know. Yeah.
How long have you been incarcerated?
I've been in January. This January will be 26 years.
And how old are you, sir?
In December, December 1st, I will be 49. I'm 48 right now.
Wow, so you've been incarcerated more of your life than you've actually been out here in the free world.
Yeah, I've always been since my teen years. I've been just institutionalized. You know, my whole teenage years, adult years. I just ever since I've been introduced, I was introduced to detention center, just juvenile hall, camp. I've been to three different camps, and starting at the age of 12, and it just seems like it was nonstop. All the way till my second prison term, which is my life crime right now, my LWOP sentence.
What do you think led you down that path, though, man? What do you think it was that you said at a very young age, at the young age of 12, man, you were already getting into trouble, man? But before that, there must have been something that that made you go down this path, man. Did you lack love? Were both your parents in life? Did you go through anything as a young child, man, that changed you?
Um, well, what I can say is that you ask what made me go down this path, or why. Back then, as a 12-year-old kid, I couldn't say, um, I'm feeling unloved right now. Everybody stop. I'm feeling in love right now. Would somebody please love me? I couldn't comprehend that, that concept or anything. Although I did feel like I didn't want to be around my family for the issues, the dysfunctionalness that was going on at home. Um, um, that's what made me. It led me to the streets, if I could say that.
Did you meet someone, or was it someone in your family that ultimately introduced you to the gang lifestyle? What was that like?
I didn't have no family members in gangs or nobody. Nobody in my family was in gangs or anything like that. I made friends with people that were gang members in school, and little by little, I started hanging out with them, and I was messing up in school, and that gravitated to me hanging out with them, and started mimicking them, their behavior, and that's how the gang thing for me started. Is wanting to be. I wanted to be different. I didn't want to be the me. I wanted a new identity, um, and I wanted what they had. I wanted their image because my image made me feel ashamed, made me feel insecure, and so that's what led me to the gang.
Did you find what you were looking for?
Um, yeah, I felt accepted by them. I felt at that moment in time, I believed that damn these dudes care about me. These friends, these group of friends, they love me. They care about me. They let me borrow their clothes, and they give me food.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Like when I was running away from home, I was just a kid, a hurting kid that I wanted to leave home, and I was just running away, but I didn't know where I was running to. And when I made friends with my gang friends, um, they allowed me to stay in their houses. So now I had a place to stay. And so that made me feel cared for. That made me feel accepted. It made me feel loved. And it made me feel that, hey, I am somebody. I'm no longer being ignored. If I could say that.
Obviously, you just stated to me that you're incarcerated for a gang-related homicide. You said you were the driver. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was a driver in my car.
Obviously, there must have been a series of events that took place leading up to this unfortunate event, man. What happened, man, in those last few weeks, few months that led you down this path?
Yeah. It, um, I had just got out from my first prison term in November of '96. November '96. My first prison term was for receiving stolen property. It was a G ride, stolen car. So I got busted for it. But I was already on parole, on YA parole. I did my first prison term, and then in November of '96, I paroled, and in November, December, and January. In I want to say February. One of my homies at the time, one of my homeboys at the time that I knew pretty good, the rival gang did a drive-by shooting on them, and they paralyzed them, quadriplegic. And so when he was in the hospital, I would go visit him. You know, I think I visited him like twice. And yeah, you know, he was paralyzed. And so I'm just fresh out, only been out a few months. And I never forgot about it. I knew I knew something had to be done. And in the back of my mind, you know, it stayed there. But in the meantime, I eventually found a job. I was working through the agencies, different agencies, and I was able to find different employments. And I was living with my girlfriend and my young daughter, and I was just living right for the moment, being responsible or whatever. But I still
You have 60 seconds remaining.
had that in the back of my mind, you know, and I just realized that from all these months, like nobody's doing nothing. In other words, nobody's retaliating for what took place. You know, everybody's just talking a good one. You know, but I think I'm gonna have to call you back.
Yeah. Can you call me back?
Yeah, I'll call back right now.
Okay.
Hold on. I will like every other weekend I would throughout the week I'll be a working man. You know, I'll be a working man and do what I gotta do, pay bills, and then every other weekend I would go drive to the neighborhood. You know, I would go check up what's going on, what's the latest, you know. And still, you know, nothing. Everybody's still just, you know, as they say, just standing around. You know, and I don't know. To me, I just saw it like, man, everybody's just a bunch of sissies around here. You know, nobody's doing nothing, man. You know, that's not me. You know, and so it's kind of like that's how I saw it. You know, like, damn, man. You know, I was just disappointed.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And let me see, from February of '97, this crime, I committed this crime in October of '97. So it was like February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Yeah, like about 7 months, 7, 8 months went by. And that's when I committed this crime. Do I break it down, like explain it, or?
Please, if you will, if you will, take us to that day. And do you remember literally those talks? You're literally ruining your life without even thinking about it, but you're literally having those talks, picking up guns, making phone calls, and you're setting yourself up for failure. Do you remember those last few days?
I remember I was living in Pomona, right? I was living in Pomona when I paroled. I paroled to my girlfriend's house, to her mom's house, till eventually we got our own little our own little house, our own little studio, and and so a few blocks away in Pomona, a few of my homies were living a few blocks away from me. And so if I wasn't driving all the way from Pomona to El Monte every other weekend or whatever, I would walk from my house in Pomona just a few blocks away and kick it with the homies from my neighborhood that were living right there. And I would kick it with them. And I would still find out what's going on, what's the latest and stuff. And so me going over there, I started like really kicking it with them, and I started getting high with them, and start drinking with them, and popping pills with them, and we're talking about business, neighborhood stuff, just small stuff though, on a small scale, and let me back up. The homie that they shot up and that was paralyzed, he went over there to stay with another homie that was also in a wheelchair. And the reason why he went over there to stay with them was because his house was already functioning for wheelchairs. So the homies say, hey man, just bring him over here and let him stay over here, and we'll help him out, get used to being in a wheelchair and so forth.
Why was he in a wheelchair? Sorry to,
and so that's why I start the homie that was already living there.
Yeah. Why was he in a wheelchair? Not the one that had gotten shot recently that you mentioned. Why was the other one in a wheelchair? If you don't mind me asking. Sorry to interrupt, by the way.
I think I can't remember if he also got shot, because I was already busted. But if I'm not mistaken, I think he got shot, and he ended up paralyzed. And this is our older homie. He is our older homie. And so he wanted to bring this other homie into his house, like, yeah, let him get used to being in a wheelchair. And so they were both in wheelchairs, so they became close. And I knew both of them as well, so it felt good going over there to visit them. And I would help out around the house with as in regards to their gardening, their grass. I would be the one with the I already forgot what it's called, but with the
lawnmower,
with the garden thing, the one where you go around hitting the corners and you cut the grass
whacker?
with. Not the lawnmower, but with the machine. Yeah, you put gas in it.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. They have that one. They also have another one that spins. It's like it has 2 points on each side, and it's just spinning in circles, cutting off the. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, but even the lawnmower too, I would take it in my car and I would go to their house and I would do their lawn for them, because they weren't unable to. They couldn't do that. So, but I felt good doing that. Like, I look out, don't trip. I'll do the lawn this weekend. And so, it was a friendship, but it was a homie friendship, like, and but they were deep into drugs. They would numb themselves. They would get high way more than I would, because they had their SSI checks, and so they would spend it mostly on dope, on drugs, and they were always partying. They were always drinking, even though they were on wheelchairs. They were partying, and one day, the homie that had recently became paralyzed. His name is Joker. Joker wanted to go home. His family stayed in South Almonte, and so he asked if we could take him home. And so I said, sure, don't trip. I got you. And so I asked another homie, like, hey, help me pack up his stuff and put it in my car because we're going to take him home. Help me take him home. Because it's a little mission to handle his wheelchair. You got to take it apart because it runs on batteries, and these batteries are big. They're on the bottom. And and then you got to carry him, and he's heavy. And so, I asked the homie to help me. And so we put him in the car. We put his wheelchair in the bag, put his backpack in the car, and so we jumped on the freeway. But before we left, we were drinking a little bit, and we jumped on the freeway, and then we were headed from Pomona to Elmonte. But before going to his house, in the middle of the ride over there on the freeway, I realized that my passenger, which his name was Lizard, he was a young homie. He brought his gun, and he showed it to me, and in that moment, that's when my gang mindset just flipped. It just instantly, I was like, you know what? Let's go over here real quick. Instead of going to his house, going from point A to point B, I wanted to take a detour, and I wanted to go cruise through the neighborhood. And it's already like at I want to say 8:30, somewhere around 8:30 at night. And got off the freeway, and we hit a few corners. We didn't see nothing, and boom! Next thing you know, I hit corner right there on X line in Elmonte, right along the freeway, and there was a guy on a bike. He was like coming towards us, but I wasn't really tripping on him. And he passed by us, and my passenger, like, he yelled out at him, like, "What's up, fool? Like, where you from?" And as he already passed us, he starts yelling out, like, "Hey, I'm from Flores, which is our rival gang. And that's the gang that did the drive-by on Joker, my backseat passenger." And so when I heard him say that, I busted a U-turn. And I came back, passed him, and I busted another U. And now I'm passing him again, but this time I slowed down. And then I asked him, like, "Where you from?" And he's like, Flores, and so I told my passenger, "Get that fool." And he pulled out his gun, and I was going so slow that he was able to open up the door and jump out the car. And he got out the car, and he pointed the gun at him, and he shot him.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Whether he hit him or not, I don't know. But that's how slow I was going. That he was able to get off and shoot. Boom. But then he jumped back into the car. And I was still going. And he continued shooting. boom, 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 boom. He shot 6 times. And I looked back. I couldn't really see. It was dark. And I seen that the bike was on the ground. And that was enough for me. I just hit the gas and turned the corner on X line.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
And hit on Durfee. No, not Durfee. What is it? Peck. And I hit the freeway. And then that's when we went to drop Joker off to South Armani. And then that's where we put the gun at his house. I didn't give it to him. It was my passenger that gave Joker the gun. Here, hold this. We'll get it later or whatever. And
So you say you dropped off the gun at this guy's house, man. What proceeded to happen after that? How did you guys get caught?
right after that, we dropped him off, left the gun with him, and then I dropped off my passenger. He lived in Pomona as well, and I dropped him off, and then I went home, and I went home, and a few days later or whatnot, I went to work. I went to work like nothing happened. But the same night that I went home, my girlfriend was like, "Oh, where'd you go? Where you been at? Oh, why?" And so I told her exactly what happened. I told her, "Hey, man, this happened. This fool got shot." And but right away I was like, I didn't do it. It's like this fool got shot, but I'm not the one that shot him, and this and that, and I try to minimize my role. I remember, and I told her I'll be good because I was in panic mode, and I was like, damn, man, and but I just went to work like nothing happened. Try to forget about it, and yeah, and it was still stuck in the back of my mind, and 2 months had went by. It was 2 months because we got arrested on January 15th, 14th, 15th, 15th. And the crime happened on October the 14th. It was the night, October the 14th. That's when the crime happened. October, November, December, January. So we'll say like 2 months and a half later, I got busted. We got busted. Yeah. Like at
How?
4 a.m. They came to our house, to my house, like around 4 a.m. The Elmonte detectives and police, along with the Pomona police, they all came, surrounded my house, and they're banging on the door. And so, but in between those 2 months and a half, I was already like paranoid. Like, damn, they're gonna, I'm gonna get caught. It's like it's only a matter of time. And I was telling my girlfriend because she was pregnant at the time. We were living good, and I was planning to be there for the birth of my second daughter. And so I was in panic mode. I was like, I was telling her I'm gonna get caught. And she was suggesting for me to just leave to Mexico. She has family over there, and she's like, just leave, just go over there, and we'll be good, But I didn't want to leave her. I didn't want to abandon her. you know. And so I stayed. I said, no, I'm gonna stay with you. And but unfortunately, they came and they surrounded the house and I told her, let them in, man, just let them in. You know, there's nowhere for me to go. And sure enough, they took me in, took me to Elmonte station, and then that's when they let me know that they arrested first Joker, and that Joker gave our names. He pointed us out. That hey, Duke was the driver, and Lizard was the passenger. Lizard was the shooter, and that Joker. Oh, I was just there. I'm paralyzed. They're the ones that took me there. And so for a lot of years, I looked at it as like, man, this fool snitch. This fool's a rat. First chance I get, I'm gonna blast this fool.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And so I had paperwork saying all that you know what, he did say that, hey, Duke Ernie was the driver, and Lizard Peter was the shooter, the passenger. And so it was heartbreaking. Like, oh man, you can't believe that. But at the same time, I was already telling everybody, yeah, when you see this fool, get his ass, because I got my paperwork now. You know, he snitched us off, and so I never got to see him no more. I don't know what happened to him. You know, now we're going to court, and my crimey passenger come to find out that he also said that I was a shooter, that he had nothing to do with it. And so it's just like, oh my God, you know, I didn't know what to do with that. Like, you know, like I just couldn't believe it. You know, everybody's just being a snitch. It's like you want to gangbang, but you can't take the heat. You know, when you get busted. For me, it was normal. Like I said, I've been institutionalized all my life. I can get out. I can do time and get out and come back in, no problem. But some people are not built for it, you know, and they couldn't hang under pressure or whatever, and they want to throw the blame at other people. But you know, we decided to take it to trial, and refused to testify against him because I was offered by the DA, you know, we'll give you a deal. We'll give you like 30, I think he said 39 to life or whatever, 39 to life if you testify against your crimey. But in the 90s, 39 to life is not a deal. You know, in the 90s, life was life. No one was getting out. You know, there was no action. So that's why I was like, nah, we're taking it all the way to trial. And we lost. You know, we ended up getting out, both of us. And it's been 26 years now. So that's it. That's what happened.
How did that make you feel, man, when the judge read off, man, that you were going to be sentenced to life in prison, man? You say you were already institutionalized, man, but honestly, man, a life sentence is a life sentence.
In that moment, like, I felt injustice because I was claiming that I didn't do it. I'm not the one that shot that dude. I didn't. I wasn't the one with the gun. You know. So the whole time, in reality, I was the one minimizing my role. And because
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I was minimizing my role. When I did get the LWAP sentence, I saw injustice towards me. Like, man, now I was like feeling self pity. Like taking the victim stance. Like, why me? I didn't do it. It's not my fault. It was his fault. All these things running through my mind, and but there was nothing that could be done. You know, there was nothing to be
What
done,
is
and
your
so
perspective on this? What is your perspective on this now? On this entire
today,
situation?
26 years later, um, well, today my perspective on it is reflecting back now is, oh man, I had a major role in it. I had a major role in everything that went down. In fact, I was the one that was in control. Um, yeah, I might have not been the one with a gun, possessing the gun, but I was the one that's in control of where we're going, when we're going, where we're turning. There was many options there, and not one time did I choose to make the right choice. Um, Cesar Gonzalez, would still be alive today had it not been for me wanting to take that detour. Instead of going from point A to point B to just dropping Joker off, um, it's like I had something to prove still. It's like the moment, like I said, the moment that I seen the gun, when Lizard told me that he was strapped, I made that decision alone. So you know what? Hold on, we're gonna go over here real quick. So I was in control. We're gonna go over here, you know, and so I was just um, I was just minimizing my role at that time, Um, but then now today, I understand and I realize that um, I had all control, because I was saying what we're gonna do and when we're gonna do this, and so that's my perspective on it. You know,
Were you able to communicate with the victim's family in any type of way?
no, no, I just know that I seen them in court in my trial, and I remember they showed up a few times. It was always the mom and the sister, and they would cry. That's what I remember. They would cry, and I would look back at times, and I had no expression. I just seen a crying mother and a crying sister, and I didn't know how to process that. I just I had no words,
Do you think about it?
and but today, like looking back now, like reflecting on it, like I feel I feel remorseful for what I've caused them. I can't. Um, there's nothing I can say. There's nothing I can do uh, to bring back their son, to give them back their son. I can't. There's nothing in this world that I could do to bring him back. Um, it's
Can I ask you this? Where did this feud with Flores even start? Like, how did this even start? If you guys
You
are
have
from the same
60 seconds
city,
remaining.
if you guys
When
are
did
from the
it?
same city, how did that happen? What
That
happened?
was this was like in the early 70s or mid 70s, late 70s, where it just there was I'm not exactly sure what took place, but I know that it was in the mid 70s. We just the homies before me just didn't get along with them no more, and they broke off, and we've been feuding with them ever since.
I just find it crazy. I just find it mind-boggling that two people, how two people's lives can be changed forever. One, and from the same city, one is serving life, and one is dead. He's no longer here. You guys are from the same city, but you guys feud amongst each other, which I find is mind-boggling.
Yeah, it's yeah, yeah, it's yeah. I don't know. Damn, that's crazy.
How would you define yourself as a person today? What are your goals? What are your ambitions?
Today, um, today I can say that I can honestly say that I am a caring person. Um, I care. I care for myself. I care for the welfare of others. Um, I I've learned what it is to have compassion for people, and to have empathy. To feel or to understand the pain of others. Um, Today, I'm able to be honest. Um, I'm able to hold on to my integrity in a positive manner. Um, um, I'm responsible. I know what it is to be responsible and to hold myself accountable. Accountability. Today, um, I'm able to process what I feel, my emotions, and think. I'm able to think before I act. I'm able to think before I speak. Um, so these are different elements to who I am today. Um, what else? My goals? You asked my goals.
Yes, sir.
My goals is I have a desire to just um, to be helpful, to be helpful and reach
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
being able to reach others that were in my shoes, others that are in my shoes, that are also hurting, that are also feeling the way I felt, or everything that I was going through. That cycle repeats itself. You know, and so those are the ones that I would like to reach. and help. You know, um, when I was growing up, there was nobody there to help me out that I could relate to. Uh, um, that would help me bring me out of that. There was nobody. There was good advice here and there, but I disregarded it. You know, um, but and my goal is just to just um, yeah, like I said, is just to be helpful in any way I can and to just help um, the struggling youth. You know, as they say, the struggling youth. You know, to really make an impact. You know, uh, uh, um, as they say, you know, it takes one to know one. You know, there is no one more qualified to help somebody than someone that lived it, someone that's been there, someone that knows the ins and outs of it. And so that's my goal.
Do you have any last message for anybody out there who's actively participating in this gang lifestyle and is contemplating, thinking, plotting on doing something evil? What would you tell them?
Oh, I could first say that you know, it's like I can say think. You know, I know at the moment, you know, at my young age, you know, someone told me to think. It's like, that's going over my head. I'm not thinking. I'm not gonna think. You know, what is there to think of? But that's what I would say is just think. Think of your family. You know, if you know you're wanting to get some payback or something like that to somebody else, think of their family. You know, think of the hurt, the pain that you're gonna sentence them to. You know, because that you're sentencing them to a life sentence of pain that's never gonna go away. You know, think of the ripple effect that you're gonna create, that you're gonna cause your choices. You know, it's about choices. You know, um, but I could like go on about that. You know, but it's just think. Most of the time, we do things because we don't think. We don't think the consequences. We call it consequential thinking. When we're young, we don't know what that is. What is that? You know, but it's think before you act. Think of the consequences. What's going to come after? You know, that's what that means. And so that's what I could share about that.
I want to go ahead and thank you, Ernie, for sharing this part of your story. I hope in a few days we can go ahead and line up the part two for this interview. But for now, I want to go ahead and say thank you, sir, for opening up the way you did. And man, it's a very unfortunate and tragic story to hear how so many young Hispanic lives can be lost just literally in the blink of an eye. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, yeah. I started getting like a little emotional, man. Uh, uh, but it's normal, you know, when you start thinking about your you know the person, the life that you took, and then not only that, but you think about their family, and so it's